welcome to Let's Play Gran Turismo 2, episode 26. Alrighty then. So, you may remember in the previous segment we notably completed the European League, driving our Lotus Esprit V8 GT, as you can see here. And well, now of course we are going to move away from the Mediterranean and essentially the Atlantic and head on over to the Pacific parts of the world, because next up we are doing the Pacific League. So I thought about what car I was wanting to use for this event, and I can show you what I planned on using originally, and that was this. I tried using the 98 Mustang SVT Cobra from Ford, and well, as you can see there, I don't think that's going to work for me, and obviously, because I know very well that essentially I have to keep myself on a time scale, obviously, because I have to share my room with my brother, which is a big F to me. Essentially overall, I'm just going to head back to Dodge. And well, essentially overall, in terms of cars I was wanting to use, I eventually decided that, well, one of my best choices, if I was gonna get this done quickly, would probably have to be this, the Dodge Viper GTS. So, available in three colours, as we've got bright silver metallic with blue stripes, black with silver stripes, and also red with super stripes. And well, I really didn't know which colour I was wanting to use more than the others, but well, essentially overall, because I already have a Dodge in black, I might as well get this one in red, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Because fuck it. Also, because essentially overall, I won't have to spend as much time trialing and erroring, and obviously, because I know very well this will probably be easy, I'm suspecting the AI will probably be using racing slick tyres, so obviously I'm essentially gonna follow their instincts and go for the racing softs, and well, just for a wee bit more horsepower, or I should probably say a bit more horsepower, I'm just gonna put on the racing chip, you know, just in case if I were to have any struggles for these three races, but hopefully I will not. And I think that'll be about it. Because, well, FYI, I think that's probably all I need to do. But anyways, so we shall head back over to the Gran Turismo League and back over to the International Regional Championships. And well, the reason why I have more money than you essentially think I do is, well, because I re-recorded episode number 23, because obviously my microphone audio wasn't on then. And obviously, I did have to re-record that, and well, the reason why I couldn't be bothered to reload my progress from before I completed the Pure Sports Car Cup is because, well, too much work, and also because I had no other saved files that actually show me where I got up to by the time I completed the fucking Pure Sports Car Cup. But anyway, so this is the GT Pacific League, as we have got three races here: Midfield, Seattle, and Laguna Seca. And two of these courses I would probably say are located in Central America, considering Seattle is obviously in Washington and also Laguna Seca being in California. But anyways, before I go off on a rant, let's just head to race 1 at Midfield Raceway. Hopefully we can achieve at least minimal success. And just before we get started, just going to switch to analog mode and, well, yeah. Let's see how we do for race 1. Hopefully we will go well, and hopefully if it's possible I probably have done enough tuning to win all 3 races, whilst essentially spending a minimal budget on tuning. Hopefully this will not be too much of a challenge, but we'll wait and see. As I'm already up to 4th off the line. Oh, and that Gran Sport is already blocking me, as we also have a Mustang in the field along with the Scooby, and I am already up into the lead after only the first lap. And whoever's at the back there, he must have had a heavy spin, and I think that's probably the Mustang that's all the way at the fucking rear of the field. If I know he's spun that many times, he's probably still spinning as well. But anyway, so a relatively easy first lap overall for me, at least to start with. And I'm running wide, but managing to prevent the car from going straight into the wall, and his AI are starting to catch up to me again, as I figured they would. But I'm not really being challenged at this point, so you know, really don't think there's too much to worry about unless I fuck up massively, which I don't think is going to happen, even though I certainly won't fuck up as much as the Mustang did on the first lap. Well, I think he's starting to catch up again, the Mustang is. Considering obviously he is essentially my fellow brethren of Snake. Because obviously, you know, me and a Viper and the other one being a Mustang SVT Cobra. And well, for me at least, I am currently leading. I'm managing to narrowly edge away from the FD, and then I think it's the Impreza in 3rd, and I just hit the wall. And I think at the back that's probably an NSX, but again, I don't know for sure. Meanwhile, we are now onto the 3rd and final lap here at Midfield Raceway, and I've got a relatively average margin over these AI at the moment, and the Mustang has managed to catch up to the field once again, even though he is at the back with the Corvette. So you know, must be said, F to the Mustang. Because obviously, I think if he didn't spin on the first corners, or at least at the second corner of the first lap, he may have been in contention for potentially a podium, but again, we'll never know for sure, as I just suddenly clipped the wall. Hopefully at the very least, this will be a cleaner lap from me, as I now cross the line, not particularly pushing, but I still get fastest lap of the race anyway, mainly because, well, I did not crash as much, and, oh, okay, we had 2 FDs in this race, so one of them came second, the other one eventually had to settle for 4th, as I won by just under 1.5 seconds. Gran Sport was 3rd. The Mustang eventually recovered to 5th, so we didn't finish in last, and the Impreza had eventually sustained last. But anyway, So that was race 1. Won quite easily. In my more superior snack. Which is precisely what this is. Although I am hoping for the second 2 races, the Serpentine will be stronger. But anyways, let's head to race 2. Where if it's possible, I should be able to give myself something reasonable. But we'll wait and see. As we are now heading to Seattle for race 2. And there is another Viper in this field. We also have another Mustang. And shifting up into second, just so I don't get as much wheel spin. And fairly confident I'll probably take the lead on the first lap, so not particularly pushing at the end of this one, as I'm already up into third. And these AI are getting very touchy at the moment, whilst I of course am currently in third behind the Nissan 300ZX. And shifting down and oh, I accidentally ploughed the Nissan straight into the wall as we were both braking. But then again, it would have probably done the same thing to me, so I feel no guilt. That is precisely how you race clean in Gran Turismo 2. Almost sliding straight into the wall, and it is a twin to my Viper. We are both driving the same type of Viper. The Snakes are currently running first and second, although I am hoping we can win. We can do this with a lockout of the podium, because even though we did get a double podium at midfield, we didn't officially get the 1-2, so and my fellow Viper is getting very aggressive as we plough straight into the wall. Pretty much all of us plough straight into the wall. I think there's pretty much no avoiding that when you're racing hard, in my honest opinion. You really cannot avoid the wall as soon as you go over those jumps. Oh, okay, I'm spinning. And now I need to make a recovery drive. I should have known sooner or later that was going to happen, considering how easy it is to spin rear-wheel drive cars, particularly if they're American, because I'm doing this for America, and that's all. I'm already back up to fourth. My fellow Viper is currently leading the field. And to be truthfully honest, I think that was probably a terrible lap anyway. Pretty much from when I was exiting the hairpin, because I was so close to doing a 360 spin. Either that or I would have probably spun into a wall, but anyway. Let's try this again. Hopefully this time I will not make the same mistake I made previously. As I still end up touching the wall, but contact was not as hard as it was on the previous lap. Meanwhile, I of course am now closing in on my fellow snake who is leading this, even though we are basically twins. And for once I am actually pushing hard in this one. Going to be a drag race. I eventually win the drag race, and also braking early, sticking to the inside line, just trying to avoid any contact with the wall. And as we head through the final chicane, it is going to be victory for Dodge, as well as also being a 1-2 for the Snakes. So there we go, Vipers finishing first and second. Then it was the Nissan 300CX Turbo in third, followed by the Impreza fourth. The Cobra eventually finished in fifth, and then it was the Super RZ in last, by nearly 3.5 seconds. So, I win race 2. And well, I think for this one I probably will save a replay. But I'm just going to get rid of that one, and I'll probably need to get rid of my other ones as well, because, well, I don't need them. So yeah. And as I did mention before, I did of course re-record segment 23 after I did parts 24 and 25, but anyways. Hopefully, if it's possible, Seattle probably will provide me a decent shot. Even though obviously I could have saved a replay at Laguna Seca. I could very well do that, you know. Or I may do it, but anyways. Let's head to the third and final race of the Pacific League, which is at Laguna Seca. Let's go. And hopefully, like with the first two, it will be a clean sweep. As we also have another Viper in this event, along with another Mustang. And shifting up in 2 seconds so I don't get any wheel spin off the start. As we have an FD in this race, along with an Impreza. Another SVT Cobra is also in this race, alongside the Nissan 300ZX, as I almost lose the rear end on the entry to the Firestone Bridge, but thankfully I do manage to catch it at least, as I am currently 1.6 seconds behind my fellow Viper. And as for the Cobra, he is currently near the back. And well, as for me, I'm currently in the middle, and oh my god. Oh shit. Yep, okay, I think that was the Viper that just spun there. In the middle of Corkscrew. And I think he also spun on his own, so... Whoa, fucking hell. That Nissan is not taking any prisoners today. if it was just gonna fucking destroy my rear like that through the final corner. He's clearly not taking any prisoners today. Well, it looks like... I think that's the Viper that's starting to come back once again. As for the Mustang, I'm actually not sure what he's doing at the moment, but meanwhile, for me at least, I am currently the leader, and everything is more or less going my way at the moment. You know, more or less. And it looks like he has retaken second place. I'm only hoping that he does not spin a corkscrew again. And... oh, I think that was the Nissan that just spun there. So I'm assuming the Viper could be back in it, unless I'm looking at the FD. Well, could be anyone really, but I think behind me that's probably the FD. As I now move on to the third and final lap of the Pacific League. Here at Laguna Seca. So, got a bit of an advantage at the moment. Well, as for the Cobra, I don't think is in contention for the podium on this occasion, and indeed that is the FD right behind me. And the Viper is closing in, and I think the Cobra at the moment is currently at the back. So I don't think the Cobra is in contention. Whoa! Excuse me. And these AI, as usual, are basically just being dicks to one another, including me. But at the very least, I still assume command of this race, and my fellow Viper is now back in second, and it looks like the Mustang is up to third. So, coming across the line, victory for Dodge. And, yay! It is a lockout of the podium for the Snakes. The Serpentine has overruled the Japanese. So it's a 1-2 for the Vipers. The Mustang SVT Cobra did eventually manage to come back and finish in third. Then it was the Impreza fourth, the FD was fifth, and the 300ZX had eventually finished in last. And notably overall, that's officially the closest margin from first to sixth, essentially. Because in the previous two races it was basically 3.5 seconds. But in this race, it was only 3 seconds. Oh, B2W. Since this was the final race, obviously I also need to save the game. Which is precisely what I'm going to do. And so, there we go. Well, I think I'll just stick with my Seattle replay, you know, just because I want to. Also because essentially I've got quite a few shots at Laguna Seca, so, you know, I don't think I need another one. But anyways, the Pacific League is now complete. And that is officially both of the international regional championships complete. As I now head back over to my garage, and let's now check out our prize cars. So, from race 1, we win a Nissan 300ZX GTS. Very nice. I'm also fairly certain this is probably from IMSA as well. At least I think this car is from IMSA. Judging by the decal, sorry, the livery. But anyways, that's the prize from race 1. From race 2 we win a Mazda RX-7 LM edition. Also quite nice. And from race 3 we win a HKS Drag 180SX. God, I actually love this thing. Yeah, I probably will have to drive this car eventually. I really will, TBH. But anyway. So, we are now 28.31% complete with the game. And also, my win ratio is starting to move back up again. And so that, my friends, was the Pacific League. Next time we will be moving over to the dirt events. And so with that, stay tuned for more GT2.